When I first found out they were rebooting Robocop, I was fine with it. I thought it was a cool idea to reboot the movie and try different things with it. There was nothing wrong with the original. I think the original still holds up to this very day, besides a few things that's wrong with it, like some of the effects don't hold up to this very day on Blu-ray, but that's fine. It's an old movie from 1987, so we're not expected to look perfect to this very day. And I felt if they ever did a remake on it, they actually try different things and go in a different direction than the first one, which actually would be more interesting to see. My original intention, I thought they ever did it again, would be a version of Deus Ex Human Revolution, similar to that. I figured he wouldn't have a suit on. His arm would look more similar to actual skin, maybe Terminator style. I mean, at the end of the day, Robocop's been ripped off so many times before. Doing a remake of it, doing something a little different with it's fine. Well, of course, there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to see a new Robocop movie. They want to hold on to the original. And that's fine. But don't think the reboot or a remake's going to kill the Robocop franchise. Robocop 3 already did that. So I was willing to actually give the movie a shot and actually see what the movie has to offer me if it actually brought something different and something new to the table instead of the same thing or a rehash. So I was willing to see exactly what they're going to do this time to make it stand out for the original. And what they did was they focused more on the human element like I thought they would have, but they actually went with a deeper aspect of him losing his humanity over time. And just like the original dealt with a man becoming more machine than man and actually finding his humanity at the end of the movie, this movie dealt with a man losing his body first and then losing his humanity over time, only to regain it. And it also dealt with a lot of other issues similar to the original movie. And it managed to bring up some more issues that the original didn't deal with and take it on itself. This is supposed to be a review of the film, but it's more of me actually defending the film than actually reviewing it. Because I know a lot of people wrote it off before they even saw remotely any trailer. And by the time they did see a trailer, they shit on it the whole time. I feel like it's being compared to the original so much that it's ridiculous. So if they do want to take the name of the movie and actually remake it and do the same thing we've already seen before, then we should be able to compare it to what we've already fucking seen before. So I actually think it's fair to compare the remake to the original, but I feel that the two movies are so different that it's kind of like comparing beer to a fucking wine. I mean, it's like it's not the same exact thing. And it faces the same problems. It has similar characters, but the story is so drastically different. And the way they approach the movie this time is so drastically different that it doesn't even make it fair to compare it to the original, which is something that I've never had to say about a sequel before since fucking John Carpenter's The Thing. I mean, it's not this. It kind of follows the same story in a certain way, but it made their own and did things differently. And you actually look back on the film itself as a classic on its own. I'm not saying the remake of Robocop's a fucking classic, but so far it's a great sci-fi film, which the original was a sci-fi film to a certain point, but only Robocop and Ed 209 really dealt with the whole sci-fi factor of it. But this movie dealt with the fact that this is a new world. It's a futuristic world. It's not that far away from where we're living now. They have advances that we don't have yet, and we're actually working towards getting those advances in real life. So it makes sense to like they'll show the natural progression of science. And it's not just, well, we're just going to make a cyborg out of nowhere. You see the technology to make Robocop seem to have been around a little bit before he was actually created. It's a nice touch that they added to the movie. There's also the whole deal with the suit. A lot of people hated on the suit. They fucking bashed the suit because they say it looked too much like the Dark Knight suit, you know, for Batman. But they actually explain in the movie how he went from original classic Robocop themed armor to what he has now, which is the black outfit. You can actually see kind of a meaning behind the change of the suit throughout the film if you actually pay attention and put a lot into the little thoughts and like ideas they share with you, subliminal messages they throw out there on the screen. The movie felt like his messages were less out there straight to the point in your face and more subliminal for you to analyze on your own. Robocop 2014 is a thinking man's movie. It actually makes you really analyze what's going on and what they're talking about, the message they're sharing, which actually relates to the shit we're going through today. So I feel like if they're going to remake Robocop, and it's going to happen regardless of if we even want one or not, then this is probably the best version we could have. It basically is. And even though I enjoyed the hell out of it, I really did love this film. And I can see it as so separate away from the original that I can enjoy both at the same time for different reasons. The film's not completely perfect. In fact, I can actually say me liking the film so much is actually because I actually thought it was going to be shit. As a lot of people still do think it's going to be shit or it is shit without seeing it. I feel there's only little things I can nitpick at to make it not a perfect film. Go to an example, the fact that he had a human hand, he had one human hand. It actually did kind of bother me because I always read it, looking up the film, was that he only had the hand because the public wanted to know that the hand that was pulling the trigger was a human hand and not a machine hand. And that makes sense. It has like a lot of philosophy behind that. It was really artsy, but I actually feel like it wasn't explained good enough. That's one of the things I didn't like about it. They didn't actually state in the movie the true reason as to why he has one human hand. And of course, this is a spoiler-free review, so I can't really talk about what they show when they actually do open up Robocop. Yes, they actually do open up Robocop this time. And I'm not talking about fucking chopping him up with an axe or whatever the fuck they did to him in part 2, leaving his leg dangling about his fucking forehead. I mean, they actually did show what's inside Robocop. And what they did is different. I felt a lot of what they did with Murphy was completely different from the original. You get a little bit more Murphy this time, and I like that because you get to see the kind of man he was before he turned cyborg. But all those little touches they did to make the movie better, I just felt like little nitpicks, like not really explaining the hand. That's one of the things that held it back for me. It's not a big deal. I mean, I can find other stuff that's wrong with the film if I actually really look for it, but it's one of those films that you think it's going to be so bad because Hollywood doesn't know how to do shit right. You know, you think it's going to be another Total Recall or Old Boy, Nightmare on Elm Street. I figured it's going to be one of those kind of films that I had my expectations super low. But I was hoping that, my thing was I was just hoping it wouldn't suck. I wasn't expecting to be impressed. But overall, I was very impressed. I had to give it 4.5 stars out of 5. I would love to give it a 5-star rating, but I feel if I watch it again, I may not feel the same. But I also feel if I watch it again, I may like it even more. It's ballsy. It tries to be very ballsy and say, hey, you know the 1987 film? You like it. Here's something else different. So anyone who bashes the movie, not because you don't like the film, but because you're so stuck up on the original 1987 film, just remember, we could have got a worse Robocop than the one we did. So just be fucking thankful the one we got is pretty decent. I'm Notorious J.I.M. That bids you a good day.